Hi everyone, Fabio here. Welcome back to the Flowbonacci channel for a new tutorial. And today, minimal translation. The minimal translation is a short and simple sequence that I found in my living room one evening. I couldn't sleep, so I started to play around with my dragon, and it ended up with this one. Minimal Steve. As I said, Minimal Steve is a very simple sequence in a way that it is composed of very simple moves, and you will be able to be in control of your dragon at any moment of the sequence. It is a perfect sequence for beginners because it doesn't require a specific mechanic of move. If you just focus on this tutorial, for sure you'll get it. Here we go. Minimal Steve is going this way. It's like, I named it because you have to name sequences. I named it minimal. What did I say? Minimal translation. Did I say Minimal Steve or minimal translation? Minimal translation. I had to find a name because we have to find name to name things, to talk to each other and exchange point of views on subjects. So names are important and required. And I struggled really with this one because I wasn't inspired, and I end up with minimal translation because we are using this moment, which is kind of a minimal Steve, and there is, oh, what a surprise, a translation included in this sequence. So minimal for minimal Steve and translation for translation. Minimal translation. Let's see how to decompose this sequence. And we're going to start with the translation. For the record, the translation is this moment where the dragon staff is traveling without changing its direction. This is a translation. So we're going to use this one. My dragon staff will point at the camera in front of me. We are going here without rolling, so I'm going to hold my dragon off center. It's better to have it moving under the armpit. Yes, church. 5 o'clock. 6. And this stands off center, and I'm gonna go from outside to inside. Translation. After translation, we will do a pendulum. I will just let go my dragon until it reaches my elbow. Here. From the side, starting here. Translation, and this end is staying on my wheel plane, and I'm going to go on my elbow. Translation, pendulum, and here we go with a contact point on my upper arm over my elbow. I'm here, and I'm gonna introduce my other end here and just let my dragon staff roll in kind of a minimal Steve over my head. And here we are entering a little bit what makes the key of this sequence, which is a stepping. And with this free end, I will wait for my dragon under my armpit here. I'm going to continue rolling. Here I'm going to catch because we take our time to learn things. I got my dragon here. Off center, translation, pendulum, elbow, other end, rolling over my head, waiting, armpit, catch. Translation, pendulum, contact point, introducing my other arm, let it roll, minimal Steve over my head, armpit catch. This moment where am I doing my minimal Steve, my dragon goes over my head and I'm waiting here under my armpit. I don't know other dragon stuff sequences that are using this kind of waiting here with my hand. No one is coming to my head now. But I found this interesting. In common tricks, we are going directly to a stance where we are when we are changing the stance. For example, I'm going directly. Here I'm gonna step, which means I'm gonna use an intermediate end to go to my final stance. I'm not sure I'm clear. But what I want to mean is that here, instead of going directly here, I could do it. I can do it. You can do it. You can do it. It is more difficult, more technical. I could do it. Could go here, and I'm directly ready for my translation, pendulum, minimal Steve, and do it again. And instead of going directly to this quite technical jump, I will use kind of a step-by-step move, and I will use my right hand here to wait, and then I am having plenty time to go on my final stance before the translation. You got it? Instead of going directly to my target stance, I will, for example, use steps. It's a concept. And here, I would advise you to repeat this mechanic without rolling. So, without rolling, but it's not really without rolling, because during the minimal Steve, you will have your dragon staff rolling over your shoulders. But from step, final stance, translation, pendulum, elbow, point of contact, for the moment, not rolling.
Slow motion!
And now let's make it roll. It's gonna be a little bit tricky in a way. It will require attention during the translation pendulum, and for the minimal Steve it's really easy. Here it's important to focus on the point A to point B theory. Point A to point B theory is the fact that a dragon staff is rolling from a point A to a point B, and if you maximize the distance between the point A and the point B, you also maximize the time you have during the point A and the point B. Yeah. So it is very important to visualize during sequence or part of the sequence where is your dragon rolling from and where is rolling to. So you can maximize, for example, if you have, and this will be the case in our translation, we will have our dragon staff rolling away from me, but I will go over with my native hand, here my right hand. And I will go over and it will roll from the point of my fingers to my palm. And it is important when I enter this part of the sequence that I get in touch with the dragon staff with the point of my fingers, because if I go directly in the middle of my hand, I have only this distance instead of this distance. So I'm losing half of the distance, which is not very important, but I'm losing half the time I have to do this translation. Just be aware of this, visualize and play with it. First movement, translation, going over my dragon, point of my fingers, and I will go translation, palm. Here I'm moving my hand here to control, and I will trigger my pendulum. Pendulum is just letting the gravity works. I am off center, my dragon staff will naturally go down. And here I will switch my hand, this one. I was on my palm, I will go back of my hand and let my dragon staff during the pendulum roll all the way from the back of my hand to my upper arm, over my elbow. And this is, I would not say it's very tricky because we are in control with the other hand, so I can really do what I want. But this might be the part of the minimal translation sequence that requires the most attention and time and practice. Dragon staff in my palm, non-native hand, rolling away, and I will go over, control, translation, switching my hand, rolling all the way to my elbow during the pendulum, and then just go for a minimal Steve, over. And here I will wait under my armpit that my dragon staff is just in my palm. And I want here to be at the beginning of my palm to maximize this time. And here I wait under my armpit in my palm and go over translation for the symmetrical part, and you get the loop. I will let a slow motion run for a few minutes because actions speak louder than words. Looking at this slow motion is, from my point of view, the best way for you to get a maximum of details, to have the time to understand, to try on your side, to get back to the slow motion, and to make this minimal translation sequence yours. Here we go for the slow-mo.
you're so cool, playing with fire. You think you can have just what you desire. You think you can be a cheat and a liar and keep me home all alone. I think I'll do some stepping on my own. You think you're so smart? Well, you're mistaken. Yeah, I'm stepping out, left my heart breaking. Well, baby, times are moving. I've got none to be wasted. Before I'll be your stepping stone, I think I'll do some stepping on my own.
2 pointers. First, as you might have noticed during this tutorial, I am moving my legs to be comfortable, to have my plexus facing the action, especially at this moment. Minimal Steve here. I'm weighting my dragon under my armpit, having here on my non-native hand, and I would like to have my native hand going here and then a translation. And I like, it's a choice, it's a personal choice. I like personally not to point like this. I like to turn around my dragon, like to isolate my dragon. If my dragon is here, I will turn around it. Instead of having my dragon moving, I will turn around my dragon. So what I'm gonna do is minimal Steve, non-native hand, and I'm gonna step backward so I can do my translation without my dragon staff moving really forward. Minimal Steve, and here I am moving, then I am moving forward. It's an advice, it's a point of view, make your choices. Once again, it's good to be aware of possibilities, and then you try and you choose the possibility that you like. Second pointer is a problem that might happen is minimal Steve and your dragon might be a little bit off center. And it is important after the minimal Steve to land my dragon staff in my palm centered. My center in my palm. And this is good. But what might happen is after my translation, I'm going to my minimal Steve, and I can't really see my armpit, and here I will be off center, and my dragon will not be balanced in my head and fall. And in order to prevent this, it is important to extend your arm before the minimal Steve. Your minimal Steve, if you don't extend, you will for sure finish in this situation, totally off center. Center is here. But if you extend, translation, and before my minimal Steve, I will extend. I look at my center. And here, I got my center in the palm. And this is what we want. And with these 2 pointers, moving around your dragon, allow yourself to move your feet, move your legs, and this extension to have my center of the dragon staff landing directly in my palm. You got all the secrets you need to have fun with this minimal translation. Maybe a little bit of practice, repetition. This is kind of a new move, this stepping. It's not new, it's not that common in the dragon staff game for the moment, but this is what makes it spicy. Last words, how to trigger this minimal translation. Basically, you can start from a 1-2 rolling away on your side. So my feet are pointing in front of me, but my dragon is also pointing in front of me, which means my upper body is rotated, turned. And I am doing this 1-2, rolling away, and trigger. And then I'm also free to change angles. I can do what I want with this sequence. Even during the translation, I can turn. During the minimal Steve, I can turn. It's a very cool sequence where you're in control. And I really like this 1, 2, 3. and I hope you will like it too. That's it for this tutorial, folks. Let's have fun with this minimal translation. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for your support. Keep spinning. Take care and catch you later. Ciao.